Welcome to Cobra Kai. We will be I will be reviewing Cobra Kai Season 1, Episode 6, Quiver. So this episode starts off with a flashback to Johnny in 1979, where he discovers Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai for the first time, and yeah, and then we see Cobra. Then we see Johnny in the present day, and he's teaching the Cobra Kai members, and then he's like, hey, Lip, and he's like, and yeah, he's like, Lip. So yeah, he's like, hey, he's like, yeah. So yeah, he calls Eli Lip, and Dimitri's like, hey, you shouldn't call him that. He's like, what? So he's like, come on, punch. Yeah. But then Dimitri ends up quitting Cobra Kai. So Kyler is also afraid of Miguel. Yeah. So then we get back. So then yeah. So we get to Robbie, and he's at his apartment when his two friends come in, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing that on?" And he's like, I work at Daniel. I work at Daniel Laruso's. Why working there? Just to make my dad mad, cause my dad, cause Johnny hates Daniel Russo's guts. So yeah, so then he's pulling some popcorn, and one of the guys says it's too. So he puts some salt. He says there's some salt, so he puts some. One of the guys says it's too salty. So yeah, and he says, yeah, you know that car over there, you gotta fix it. So you gotta like turn it on. So he turns it on. Daniel gets mad. They laugh at Robbie because it was Louis and the other guy's fault for encouraging him to do that. But he's like, fine, I'll just quit. And he's like, come on back. I don't want you to quit. I want you to stay. So we get back to Cobra Kai, and he's like, where's the rest? Like they quit Sensei, and we also yeah they quit Sensei. They quit Sensei, and yeah, and yeah, they quit Sensei. So he's like, hey Lip. He's like, don't call me that. And he's like, it was like, it was like, he had this when he was. Eli had this when he was born, and he had this thing when he was born. He got surgery, and it got worse. So yeah, he's like, yeah, that must be bad. So yeah, but he still calls him Lip. So yeah, and he's like, and like, hey, these and Miguel's like, these guys are my friends. They're not losers. They're my friends. And he's like, are you gonna cry? And he's like, no. Good. So yeah. So then Johnny's at his apartment and gets a flashback about how awful his stepdad was, about how just like them, just like his new students, he had no friends, and he was kind of like he was a nerd. So he tells them that he goes back to Cobra Kai and says, God, I was just like you once before I became the awesome sensei he is today. He was a loser. He had no friends. He had no, and yeah. But then what Johnny said earlier to what earlier to Eli was flip the script. So Eli comes in with a mohawk, and he's like, "Are you guys with a lip?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, your new name will be Hawk." So yeah. So so he's like Hawk, stand by the others. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, do we have fear? No, sensei. Do we get beaten? No. Do we have fear? No, sensei. Do we win? Yes, sensei. Actually, do we have no fear? Yes, sensei. Do we win? Yes, sensei. And are we cool? If he doesn't actually do it, but I'm just gonna say, yes, sensei. And he's like, good. And he smiles, and that's how the episode ends. This episode was really good. I also forgot a scene. Okay, so it was a scene where Robbie went to Daniel's house, Robbie went to Daniel's house, and it was like, hey, and it was like, that's my special kata move, and he's like, do you want to cry with me? And yeah, and there's also a scene where Daniel and Sam have the like special moment where where Miguel and Sam have this special moment, and then later we think one of her friends sent her a nasty text, but it was actually Miguel who says, he's like, hey, it's Miguel, and she just laughs. I laughed too because it was so funny, and yeah. And also, yeah, as I said, in that flashback, Sid is still as Johnny's stepdad is the worst now. He was worse back then than Johnny. Like he said that Johnny had no friends. Like Johnny's always getting into fights, but Johnny has no friends, and it's just sad. And I'm surprised Johnny turned from the guy that we saw in this flashback to the guy that we saw in Karate Kid 1. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cobra Kai Season 1, Episode 7.